Welcoming all the students again. In this class, we'll be trying to understand the factors responsible for the dominance of the insects or the successfulness of the insects in this world. We have already studied in the previous class that almost like more than 70% of the living species share is from the six-legged, two-winged creatures. They are nothing but insects. They are successful because they can live everywhere. They have a different food habits, they have a different habitats, and they are successful because of many reasons. Those reasons we are going to discuss in this class. The insects, they are wonderful creatures, very beautiful. They are seen everywhere in your daily life. And it's really amazing to study the science of insects. And they are also called as hexapods because they have 6 legs. They have a different structural characters which are responsible for the dominance or success of the insects. They have different morphological, physiological features, habitat features, because of which they are really successful. I am going to share a few slides in this class to understand in a better way. This picture shows that the abundance of species of animals on the earth, and in which you can clearly see the insects which are designated in the green color here in the pie diagram. So it means out of all the other arthropods, protozoa, vertebrates, insects are dominant. Like more than 70% of the living species are insects. There are three important factors like structural characters which are responsible for the abundance of the insects, developmental characters which are responsible for the abundance of the insects, and protective characters. So I am trying to divide into 3 different major categories or factors which are responsible for the success of the insects or the abundance of the insects. So we are going to discuss in detail about all these important characters one by one. The first one is about the structural characters, and the most important structural characters which are responsible for the success of the insects are exoskeleton, which is nothing but chitinous exoskeleton. We also call it as an integument or body wall, just like our body wall. But they have different body wall, which is chitinous, which is tough, which is actually covering the entire body, and which also gives the shape. And they are also successful because they are of very small size. Many of them are very small size. And they have a very specific character like quick speciation. They have a functional wings, 2 pairs of wings. That's the characteristic feature of the class Insecta or Hexapoda. And also they have a 3 pairs of legs, which is giving a kind of hexapod locomotion. The first one is exoskeleton, which is actually a kind of body wall which is covering the entire body of the insects, which covers the entire body of the insects in all the parts. And because it is really tough and which is responsible for giving the shape of the insects. You see the butterflies, you see the bugs, beetles, whatnot, honeybees. The shape is very unique, and that shape is because of this exoskeleton. And because it covers the entire body, so all the muscles are attached to the integument or the body wall or the exoskeleton. And all the muscles are attached to the exoskeleton. Similarly, the muscles are also protected by the exoskeleton. Because it is very tough, because it is chitinous, and it has got a different constituents that we are going to discuss in detail little later in the next class when we discuss about the exoskeleton structure. They have got some kind of waxy layer in the exoskeleton, and because of which actually it protects the insect from the desiccation or loss of water. And the exoskeleton also gives rise to some kind of appendages, some kind of organs, very tough ones, which are responsible for digging or praying or oviposition, whatever it is. Then we will move on to the second one because they are small in size. When the insects are smaller, naturally, when the animals are smaller, it requires less food, it requires less space for the habitat, and chances of survival is very, very big. And it requires, that's what I told you, it requires a small food. When they are small, they can be produced in a large numbers, and there is a chance of mutation or variations, and they are very efficient because they are small. They are very efficient in conservation of the food. They are very efficient in saving the space for the accommodation. They are very efficient in moving, running, flying, whatnot. And that small size is actually very important contributory factor for responsible for the abundance or success of the insect. And quicker speciation because they have a chitinous exoskeleton, and because they are small and they have an aerial mode of flying. And these three important things which led to the quicker speciation. They speciate very fast. And they have a functional wings, and that is the power of flight. Because they are functional wings, remember, these both the pairs of the wings which are in pterothorax, meso and metathorax, they are responsible for flying to the longer distances and escaping from the enemies and migrating. That's what I told you. They can migrate from one continent to another continent. Very efficient. And which lead to the increased feeding and breeding range because they can go to any place which is suitable for them. The functional wings is one of the important structural character which is responsible for the success of the insect. And the next one is hexapod locomotion. They have 6 jointed legs. Jointed legs is the characteristic feature of Arthropoda. And you can see in this video, during locomotion, the body always rests on 3 legs. That's called tripod. When the body rests on 3 legs and it moves on because of another 3 legs. This is very interesting. So that is the reason they are very successful, because the entire body moves very fast and they don't lose the balance. They never fell down unless until there's a very soft surface. And otherwise, they have a wonderful balance as far as the insect is concerned when they are moving, when they are locomoting from one place to another place. That's very interesting. Then we will go to the structural characters. Few more other structural characters like compound eyes, scattered sense organs, decentralized nervous system, direct respiration, and enteronephric excretion. When you catch a butterfly, when you catch a cockroach, when you catch a honeybee, when you catch a dragonfly, you will see a pair of compound eyes. Just imagine, we have only 2 eyes, whereas the insects has thousands of eyes. In our case, when we lose one eye, we become blind, whereas in case of insects, as they have a compound eyes, each compound eye is having a many number of smaller eyes. So even if they lose one or two or many, absolutely there is no problem as far as the vision is concerned. That is the most important structural character because of which these insects are highly successful. And another interesting and important factor is scattered sense organs. Though they have a sense organs like antenna, sense organ like mouth parts, some of the mouth parts, and sense organs like compound eyes, many other sense organs, but the entire body is covered with many number of sense organs. They have a scattered sense organs. Even if there is one, there is no problem. They have many other things. And another important structural character is they have a decentralized nervous system. Decentralized means the entire management of the body movements, everything, all the activities of the body is not simply controlled by the brain. So in every segment they have a ganglia. So that each ganglia will have to perform a specific role. It means even if they lose a part, absolutely no problem. In our case, when we lose brain, we lose everything. But as far as the insects are concerned, the entire nervous system is decentralized. It is located in every body segment. That's very interesting. They have a direct respiration. They can simply take the oxygen from the outside. And they have a small kind of spiracles or the openings through which actually they take the oxygen directly. And directly the oxygen will go to the body cells. And then they have enteronephric excretion. We will discuss in detail like this. Compound eyes, that's what I told you. That each compound eyes will have a many number of smaller eyes. These smaller eyes, we call them as ommatidia. So even if they lose one ommatidia, absolutely no problem for the insects. They're brilliant. They have thousands, hundreds and thousands of ommatidia in each compound eye. That is the beauty. That is the reason they are highly successful. I told you that the sense organs are scattered throughout the body, and most important sense organs are, of course, very unique, but remaining, the entire body is having different kinds of sense organs. Absolutely, there is no problem. Then this is the picture. It shows the difference between human and cockroach. That's what I told you as far as the human is concerned. They have the brain, which is central point, which is a organizer, most important point as far as the nervous system, management of the entire body systems and the physiological systems is governed by the only one part, which is nothing but brain in the humans. But as far as the insects, no, they have a smaller brain in every part. They have a very smaller brain in every segment. That is the beauty of these insects. Then direct respiration, that's what I told you. They have a spiracular system. In our case, if the nostrils are closed, for a few minutes, then the person will die because there's only one place through which I can take the oxygen. Then it goes to the lungs. Then from it is processed and the oxygen is supplied through the blood in our case, to all the cells. But as far as the insects are concerned, no, there is no processing mechanism. They simply breathe, take the oxygen from outside. There are n number of pipes inside the body, and all these pipes will have oxygen directly supplied to the cell. There is nothing called lungs. That's the beauty of it. That's the very beauty. That's the reason they're really successful. Then they have a excretion, enteronephric excretion. It's a very, very specific system like Malpighian tubules they have. So these are the important factors, structural characters because of which the insects are highly successful. Then we will move on to developmental characters. What kind of developmental characters which are very, very specific to the insects and because of which these insects are really abundant or successful. High fecundity, that is the beauty, that's the development character. The insects will lay thousands of eggs, one female insect, one small female butterfly or moth or small insect. One insect can lay as many as 1,000 eggs. Just imagine one female laying 1,000 eggs, even 50% dies, the remaining 50% is going to survive. That is the beauty. That is the reason insects are everywhere, because they lay many number of eggs. And another interesting thing is they have different methods of reproduction. It's not simply a sexual method like male and female will meet and no. But as far as the insects are concerned, they have a sexual and asexual reproduction. They can even lay the eggs without mating with the male. That's the beauty. And when there is a unfavorable conditions, so they can lay the eggs. They can give rise to the babies directly sometimes. That's a beauty. We are going to discuss in detail when when we are dealing about the reproductive system. They have a controlled reproduction as well. That's wonderful. They have a controlled reproduction. So insects are really very, very intelligent. Then they know when to lay, how long, then how many eggs to be laid. Very beautiful. And they have a quick rate of development, short life cycle. The entire life cycle probably about 1 month. It depends upon the insect. Some insects will have hardly 5 days. Some insects will have 2 months. So it means that life cycle itself is very, very short. Very short. Maybe within 1 month they complete the life cycle, then they give rise away to the many number of eggs. Again the larva or nymph will come out, then they become mature, then within short time. So it's a very faster processes. So because the entire developmental process is very, very fast, many number of insects will come onto the earth. And another interesting thing is they have a specificity of the food. So each insect will have their own specific food habits, and they can live in a particular place and they can select a particular niche wherein they can survive very nicely. And specificity of the habitat, the living place, and the zenith of evolution, that we are going to discuss in detail. Very beautiful. They have a caste system. So they have a division of labor in some of the insects like honeybees, ants, termites. That's it. That's a peak of evolution. Can you imagine that the insects have got this kind of system? Insects. That's really interesting. The evolution in the insects, the evolution in insects is very far. And if you look into the honeybees, if you look into the termites, ants, some of the social insects, the job chart for each type of insect is very clear. That's the zenith, that peak of evolution. You can see here the high fecundity. You can see here the high fecundity. Just imagine a moth on the top picture shows a moth is laying more than 1,000 eggs, which is covered by a small kind of hairs to protect from the enemy. Such a beautiful. And the second one is different modes of reproduction, then controlled reproduction. All these things we have discussed enough. And the most important is zenith of evolution. That's what here in this picture you can see in the ants, and ants we call them as ants, whereas termites we call them as a white ant. So ant and white ant are different. White ant is nothing but termites. You just see, probably you are seeing only one kind of termite in the home or any place. చెదలు చూసినప్పుడు మీకు చిన్న తెల్ల పురుగులు తిరుగుతూ ఉంటాయి. They are all the workers. They keep on working. There are some kind of termites which are designated for a specific job to protect only the territoria or living place. So it means this is a peak of evolution has happened in the insects. In some insects especially, and they have a very different kind of social system. Then the last one is protective characters. They have a different kinds of protective characters, because of which they are really successful and they are abundant. There are different kinds of protective characters like morphological adaptations, physiological adaptations. They adapt to the local situations very fast to survive and to produce more. There are different kinds of morphological adaptations, different kinds of physiological adaptations, and they have a behavioral adaptations. And the insects, they construct the protective structures. Probably you have seen the wasp, you have seen the termites. They have constructed a protective structures. And finally, they also select a kind of safety places where they can be successful. And in this picture, you can see different kind of morphological adaptations. Some insects will have a bristles, spines, and hairs, and some are very, very minute, say, sizes, and some have a protective coloration. Some they have a camouflage. You can see on the left side, probably you'll be seeing these insects now and then. And on the left side picture, you can see some of the insects, they look like a leaf. Probably you think it is a leaf, but actually it is an insect. Leaf and stick insects, probably you also see stick insects sometimes. They actually camouflage to the local environment so as to protect from the enemies. They do have some kind of spines and bristles so that the enemies cannot touch, because ఆ spines bristles ఉండటం వల్ల hairs ఉండటం వల్ల irritating వస్తుంది. That is the reason you never touch the larva. You never touch the caterpillar. Caterpillar with hairs, especially hairy caterpillars. So probably at your home during spring season and all, you'll be seeing a lot of larvae with hairy caterpillar roaming here and there. You never touch because they have this kind of spines or hairs which actually irritates you. That's a kind of morphological adaptation. They also change color. They also change color. They also change color to the local environment so that they protect from the enemies. Wonderful. It's a very beautiful. Hundreds of insects, they have this kind of morphological adaptations to get away from the enemies, and that's how they are successful. Then the physiological adaptations. Physiological adaptations, actually, when the situation is not favorable, so they also undergo a kind of diapause. And they have that we are going to discuss when we deal with the digestive system. In some insects which actually suck the sap from the plant material, they have a different kind of system in the digestive modification kind, they've got a filter chamber. Then these insects also undergo sleeping, that's called diapause. When the unfavorable conditions are happening, then they want to survive, and that's how they undergo diapause. That's nothing but sleeping temporarily, so that all physiological activities are stopped and they conserve the energy. When the favorable conditions comes, then they get away from the sleep and they go to the normal. And they also have some kind of physiological adaptations by releasing poisonous or unpleasant odors. Probably this you must have experienced. When you touch green bugs which are available now and then, it comes to your rooms also. When you touch a green bug, it gives some kind of stinky smell. Stink bugs, we call them as the stink bugs. So there are different kinds of insects which release a very unpleasant or poisonous substances. They have some kind of warning coloration also. This is something interesting. So you can see on the right side, the last picture, this is actually a citrus butterfly larva. So they develop some kind of coloration which is it doesn't look nice. Actually, that looks like a fecal matter of the birds. That's this kind of things are there in the many insects. So that's the reason, because of this kind of physiological adaptations, they are really successful. Some they release the unpleasant substances, some release the poisonous substances, and some actually, and sometimes they also change the color, and a kind of warning coloration. Some kind of the color looks like enemies, some kind of color look like unpleasant materials, and they also have filter chamber, which is a very important physiological adaptations in case of sap sucking insects. And another one is behavioral adaptations. This is something interesting. And You have a lot of insects. Probably you must be seeing this kind of attitude in the insect when you look into. Some insect actually gives the voices of dangerous insects. It imitates with voice of dangerous insect. Yes, some insects actually produce the sound with the stridulatory organs. And some insects behave, the moment you touch, they will simply fell down. You think that it has died. Feigning death. చచ్చిపోయినట్టుగా యాక్షన్ చేస్తుంది. Some insect actually, they sit in an offensive position. Dangerous position లో కూర్చుంటాయి అన్నమాట. సో ఆ పొజిషన్ చూడగానే మనల్ని ఇన్సెక్ట్ కుట్టేస్తుందేమో అని భయపడతాం. So they sit in a very offensive. These are all called behavioral adaptations. So because they have this kind of morphological adaptations, physiological adaptations, and behavioral adaptations, the insects are really successful. And they also construct the protective structures. Like you can see here, so they construct the protective structures. As far as the ants are concerned, they have a mounds, and similarly honeybees, they have a honeycombs. Then termites, they actually construct a big house. Then wasp, this wasp you must be observing these wasps, especially you will see in the bathrooms, a kind of thing. They actually construct some kind of house with the mud and all. And they also construct a kind of cocoon just around the pupa. These are the protective structures which built by the insect in different kinds of insects. That's the reason they are really successful. So finally, just to review back, so these are the important structural characters. We have discussed about the exoskeleton, because exoskeleton is a chitinous exoskeleton. We also call it as an integumental body wall, because the body wall is very tough. Insects are successful because the insects are very small in size. They require less food, they require less space, because that's how they are successful. They have a functional wings, they have a functional legs, tripod movement, they have a compound eyes. Even if they lose one eye, they have many number of eyes. They have scattered sense organs. Then they have a decentralized nervous system, which is actually totally different from the human nervous system. They actually have a direct respiratory system. The oxygen directly goes to the cell. Absolutely, there's no processing organs are required like human. What we do in the lungs process everything. Then they have a high fecundity. They lay many number of eggs. So they have a different modes of reproduction, not simply sexual reproduction. They also follow the asexual reproduction. They also have a controlled reproduction. Life cycle is very short, maybe for about 1 month, sometimes 1 week in some other insects. They are very specific to the food. They are very specific to the environmental conditions. And they have a peak of evolution. That's what I told you in the termites, ants, and other insects like. So they have a peak of evolution, that there's a division of the labor for various works, and then they have different kinds of morphological adaptations. They have different kinds of physiological adaptations. They have different kinds of behavioral adaptations, and they have a protective structures. They build actually protective structures, and selection of safety niches, the safety places they select for living. So these are the important characters because of which insects are really successful, and you can see everywhere, in every kind of environment, in every continent. Well, you just see insects are available in water, insects are available in land, insects are available in air, insects are available in mud, insects are available below the ground, insects are available in the plant, insects are available in the whatnot. You just look for a place, you'll find the insects. So it means they are really successful because they have different kinds of characters, like structural characters, developmental characters, and protective characters. That is the reason insects are there everywhere. That is the reason. So almost like more than 70% of the living species which are available on the earth are the insects. Thank you very much. So thank you very much. So in the next class, we will discuss in a different chapter. So thank you very much, and take care. Bye-bye. Good day. If you have any questions, please, you can have 1 or 2 questions. If you have any doubt, absolutely no problem. You can as well come forward to ask the questions. Thank you. Bye-bye. Any questions, please?